and to address gaps identified in the previous SIM registration exercise. Some individuals to register SIM cards using false, stolen, or unverifiable identities. Mr. Speaker, because of this, the previous registration exercise did not fully achieve its objectives, and systemic weaknesses continue to undermine the integrity of the National SIM Register. Mr. Speaker, the need for a new SIM registration exercise is necessary for the following reasons. 1, incomplete biometric verification. Mr. Speaker, subscriber records were not subjected to real-time biometric verification against the NIA database, thereby limiting the effectiveness of the previous exercise in establishing a fully verified and traceable subscriber database. 2, a rising incidence of fraud and cybercrime. Mr. Speaker, weaknesses in the existing registration framework have been exploited in incidents of SIM swap fraud, mobile money fraud, identity theft, registration of SIM cards using impersonated identities, and sale and use of pre-registered SIM cards. Mr. Speaker, the new exercise seeks to address these vulnerabilities and improve customer protection and national security. 3, the introduction of real-time biometric authentication. Mr. Speaker, under the proposed framework, no SIM card or numbering resource will be activated unless the subscriber's identity has been successfully verified in real time against the relevant national identification database.
Abusia say gusu agina eye mrahye bedwafie dia na eye wonum ede SIM registration ye aye babe ye wonum eye deputy first deputy speaker eye Owura Bernard Ahafo kasa no kire se SIM registration ye babe ye biu no eye dom kuma wo ho se wa ma ho kwan ama wo misa nsem bia na se wonum ankere wo adwen amfa ho enu nti no ye ade se deputy no wo pese wo di ni dibra na se ni dibra ye de ama no wo pese wo di tete a won fa ahudie so enu enam so ema won pie na nsentrofo ebisa won eno ye Owura Afenyo Markins ede sa nsem we nyina ebon won se wonum ama won kwan ama won ankere wo adwen amfa ho ne koba ne se de asem bi ba emrahye bedwafi a we kan bi ntine kan fa kan bi ma mi kan bi no eni ti obi ade na adwen kire beba na emu ebe koba se obakofo nko a ebe kasa na ofoforo nso ntime nkire na adwen dia na ehu hia se wonom ebe tina ho na won ati.
We have observed that the First Deputy Speaker has a way of using the rules to stampede parliamentary oversight. You've all observed that he started the attack on our backbenchers. Anytime our backbenchers were on, had the opportunity to be on their feet, he will use the rules to frustrate them. The rules are not meant to be used to intimidate, frustrate, and as he's trying to do, bring Parliament to a standstill. We've tolerated the First Deputy Speaker for quite some time. Even today, you realize that the question I was asking was a public interest question. This is a government policy that is seeking to start SIM registration afresh. They claim that people use unverifiable identities to get SIM registration cards. And our question is, at what cost? How many people were identified to have used stolen IDs and all of that? Especially so when the minister himself said it will be at no cost to the subscribers. This is a harmless question. It's the interest of the Ghanaian public to know how much it is costing the nation. In any event, the previous registration came at a cost. So we need to know what procurement processes are being followed and all of that. And this is the First Deputy Speaker who sits in as a presiding officer, claiming to know the rules and saying that no, it's a new question. Meanwhile, that answer was provided by the minister. And the rules under 89(1) allows you to anchor your supplementary question on an answer given by the minister for the purpose of clarification. So this is just our protest. We protested the posture of the First Deputy Speaker using the rules to frustrate us. And as you observe, even his own side disagreed with him. The majority leader himself realized that what he was doing was wrong. It's the reason why we walked out. However, we're going back into the chamber to deal with other business. We protested his posture on this very matter, and that is it. Thank you very much.
Abusia yegusu agina mrahye bedwafie ho na enumu enamra domkuma ewo ho ene domkese ewo ho ene na pani behwe nya asenketo a na ani nyina ne se yeto nsafre ye governor e de ma Bank of Ghana se wo mra no meyi nsem bia no ana domkuma ewo ho kire se wonom kire se nsentwerofo entwe won ho kakransa wonyina nchen kakransa na enumu na domketo ho se wonte ase esanse wonum pese wodi nsem bi ehinta eye amanfo enti ana wo ka kire nsentwerofo se wontwe won ho ansa na enumu ena MP e de ma ofuase ayire bi honorable Kojo Ponkroma ye kasa na o kire se wonum pa be gina anaso wonum betina ho pa tie se won anom be yenhwe han ahwe se ye de nsem bi ebe siesie o manfo de nya de se wonum be sososo enu nti eno anso e ma won pie ye na o de nsem we nyina ye tu dwabra woni nsentwerofo edi nkomo na o kire se e wo se aban bi e de obetina so no transparency mo ma ne ye adwuma enu nti no won tina se na won hwe se edom kese e wo ho no eye transparency no wonum ebe toto na sesa enu nti se wonum betina ho pa atie sankomo ni bidie enya de ase ebesi.
You have observed the majority caucus has requested that you should be exited from the chamber as we're having this committee, or as we're about to have this committee of the whole meeting. The reason is that they are of the view that the matters that we are about to ask the governor and the answers which he has already submitted to Parliament, you should not be allowed to cover it. And that is why you have been asked to step out. And for the last close to about an hour, the minority leader has been on his feet urging on the majority side to allow the media in so that these questions and the answers that the governor has already submitted, you can cover for the people of Ghana to follow. I have here a copy of the answers submitted by the central bank. This is what they don't want you to cover. Now, let me give you a bit of a background. In 2025, you will recall that we raised here on this floor that there were questions about how the sovereign reserves of the Republic of Ghana were being managed in an attempt to bring the currency to a particular exchange rate. And there were denials from the central bank. The year having been over, we then filed questions. 3 questions, just 3 questions. The first question is to ask the governor the source of the forex that is being used for the foreign exchange market intervention that is being done to bring the currency to where it is. Where are they getting the forex from? The second question is to ask the governor what framework the foreign exchange market intervention is currently using. And the third question is to ask the governor how much has been injected. You recall us talking about they pumping a lot of our reserves into the market in an attempt to achieve a particular exchange rate. Now, in recent weeks, we have found more developments at the central bank in the exercise of monetary policy, reserve management, and the growing losses at the bank. Why does this matter to us? Because at the end of the day, you, the people of Ghana, will pay. And that is why we are raising these questions, so that we can also share other risks that they are not paying attention to. Earlier, the governor submitted his answers, and I'm going to read to you the answers they don't want you to hear. I want to read to you the first part of why they don't want you to cover. The Bank of Ghana says that since August 2024, they have not undertaken direct market interventions, as their FX operations do not draw on the central bank's reserves. Instead, the FX intermediation has been executed through the domestic gold purchase program. Does that sound familiar to anybody? The Bank of Ghana is here to admit that the ability to intervene on the market is as a result of the domestic gold purchase program. And that what they are doing is that they are mobilizing forex proceeds from the domestic gold purchase program, and those are the forex proceeds.
Na enumu ena majority leader ye honorable Mahama Yarega ebechire mu se enya de eyade pa se dom kuma no omnim se ye kofa obi ba se ye ba betoto na no ansem ni bi wo ho a ya ye nim se munukra ti sen na ye be ko ba ne se ye be ba beto abonten na be ko wiase na nye sa na chesa ko ye bibi ho eni ti ni dom kuma ni nimpa se nsem bi wo ho no ma ye kata so kakra na se ye twi efiri omanfo no hu kosi se ye be hu se asem a ye kan ye nukra turodo eni ti ni mo mu nyina ba bia anka se wonom twi nsem bi afiri omanfo no ho ana se nsem bi a onum eba bebisa governor no onum edetete na nya de se wonum di information ana nsem bia esi omanfo.
So I want you to know that there's nothing that the governor is afraid of answering in public. It is just that I believe that we must adhere to our rules, and if indeed your interest is in finding out something about the way that the finances of this country are being managed, the man who is managing is sitting in front of you. You can ask the question and then satisfy yourself that the finances are being properly managed. You can use the information in your engagements in other areas and on other platforms. But clearly, what the minority has done is to show that they are not interested in the question and the answers to the question. They are interested in the media optics. Saying that the governor has come, ask him your questions. Say no, unless the journalists are standing there, you will not ask him the questions. I say, but we don't do that for all the other independent constitutions. But why must it be the governor that we must be subjecting to that at all times? I did it because I had the numbers, so I could convince the committee of the whole at that time to have the journalists in and cover the proceedings. If you want to do that, you have to approach us, you have to work with us, and we will all agree that this is how we're going to do it. But when you have an attitude of you want to do things the way you want at all times, you were here this morning, you asked the minister a question, the minister answered, then you want to ask, supplementary questions, speaker rules against you, you show gross disregard for the speaker, and then you walk out. When you have that attitude, even on simple matters, we will grandstand. You understand that? You act and people also react. If you are just approaching and say, we want this thing before the cameras, we would have asked the governor, if you are comfortable with the media, why not? The governor says he's comfortable. He even has it as a press release.
Abusuya ya to akase ne so dia na me de wo ekwa kopie mu e wo ye gold board for asoye ne ho e na owura Sami Jemfi ya wono e na ye executive chief officer e de ma gold board no se si ya me no kase ya de se wa present sika 12,645,862.8 e de ama ye narcotics control commission ya yitwanti ya e fre no nakov ne nyina ne se e ye reward a wo de ama won odi onum di betu dwa se illegal mining no wo bia na se wutimanu bia wo beboa ama wonum atimi a kire wo no omu wewem ho edi gold no ekokokoko nkrofo ama so no bia wo betimi aboa na yetimi a kire wo no ye ji sasika na se ye hwa ye bechem na ye de wo de ama no no reward no na sisi ame no ka say de sankrofo yi atimi aboa ye pa mo atimi agi 17 gold bars a wonum asesa wonum edi won percentages ama won ti yenko na yenkwohwe ensem bia wodi tu bia bra wodi sasika no ma won.
That you successfully effected the arrest of some illegal gold traders who were engaged in gold smuggling. You arrested them and you seized about 17 bars of yellowish substances later determined through assay to be gold. I'm happy to inform NACOC that we have not only validated the seizure, but we have also just concluded the forfeiture of the related 17 bars of gold. Having confiscated it, if I can put it in that simple way. The gold has now become the property of the state. Therefore, in line with our policy as an institution to reward informants who volunteer information that lead to the arrest of illegal gold traders, smugglers, and what have you, the board of the gold board directed that 10% of the value of the seized gold be given to the informants who worked with NACOC. If it was a private entity we're dealing with, or a private person, we would have just stopped at the level of the 10%. If you like, motivational policy. That, of course, has been endorsed by His Excellency the President himself. But because we are dealing with NACOC, and we know you had to deploy a lot of resources, time, and efforts in achieving this, the board, in its wisdom, recommended that the officers that actually worked on this case, those that were involved in the entire operation leading to the arrest of the suspects, from the intelligence gathering stage all the way to the enforcement actions that were taken, should also be motivated with 20% of the value of the proceeds to motivate them to do more.
Abusia yetu aka so na me de ekwa ewo asen central ne ho e na wonum MP wo honorable Nurin Shaibu Mejima sisi ameno ka say de okopopie mu ewo ni mpesua no so ya de say wa commission 34 classrooms and afin so 48 toilet facilities na ni nyina no no se foiding komo de nyina eye ni da yeso ase obeboa asua ho nsem a wo ye man and it's in a brow. I say, Bibi, I'm franny, no, wait me at the aye, ni from would you wait me a day, or bay no dear boy, say bay never boy, mamma.
Which are in total, no, your 12 communities are, yeah, I say, back at the sword for various projects. Now, okay, baby, say, Ansarudina, Ansarudin Islamic school. Yes, 6 unit classroom block, 12 state toilet facility. Yes, also I library and an ICC center. And so yes, 3 unit classroom block and a 12 state toilet facility. Oko Fusu Catholica and so Catholic A and B and yes, ICT and then library at the Ama Catholic for no. You call Assemblies of God in Suno. Yes, 3 unit classroom block at the Ama, you know. Sanso na which would want to the Messenia Mensua, Messenia Mens, yes, 3 unit classroom block. Afonso, yes, chip compound at the Ama Trafo. Na Buka reinforcing also 12 unit classroom block plus 12 toilet facility. Obraya Pon, yes, 12 seater toilet facility. Now do yes, 3 unit classroom block plus another 3 unit classroom block plus 12 toilet facility. So yes, plus 12 seater toilet facility. Sanjuma die we niana yedi no. Sanjuma dia yedi say e ba ye constituency obeboa ma adesua ene apomuden hu nsem akoso aboa ma ye constituency na famta pefra.
Abusia anti honorable ana ye hu say wodi aso e wo form na aboa na wonum atimi 48 toilets every facility na aboa leaders or a year nana more amu tumfu hine ono eye asimfo su asem huneno kasa no che se on da won asiye pa esi ebe boana mo fra ho adisua atimi agina won na so a na den ne aseda pa na ode ma na mu osre pa se contract ya hye ne sa no won hwe na niam bia bibia ebe boa sisi ho ebe timi agina ne na so ye na di djuma ama manfo ache no wode ebe hihiem na onkonkoye ne se nonkoye ni biara na nkonkofa asem bia em
so the MP asibebri mra MP oye nto abonu ya inisia wa hye bonana mutamechi no ma kase me prim da ba me mtasama ampara ndi ehu sa ampa MP wandi ehwammo chede na ase oyinu ma ahye ba start oyinu ma akuma nyame so ba tande echi na ma tande echi no pese oye bia so nyame edin hira bogu so dem na netesi yegina he ya nyame ko ri hira he bokoso ya hira sa ma merpem no obedi na mpili sa se ona retire also retire akro yin baba tra ha ya de na ase yin aso nyame be ya ama no me bibia abem ya de mo ase bebriye wana anwa de ese ama he na mbo nwa wo be se wo se yes hwara nde school dance no ya na no ma wo de ye no assessment enuma no ma miensa yes hwara enuma ma ye num na da ne ndi mo ma he na mmiri bi aso MP besra no wura ampa contract ya adwuma ampa ya de mo ase bebri ya
ne mu ana contractor ye di adwuma na hye ne nsa Mr Benjamin Kumsin ya ono JO Construction Limited kire aniso se nani asopa se honorable minister na se honorable MP enya ne mugidie na watimi di adwuma we ya hye ne nsa na ye nani sopa nti wo hye o manfo nyina wo ho bo se enya de se wo di adwuma na obetoto na se ana se wo de be ya kwadworo na emu obe na watimi aye ne ntentem se be ya o manfo susu ebenya no watimi ede
construction company and I'm the CEO. But honorable, why are the part of project or that part? Because other constituency will hear project. But honorable, I'll be part of that part, our dog, Miss there. So, Buana, you can see. But must say, some members, and I know, but me also support. Me also support. Yeah, Bibi Amatoha. Me for workers were hard laborers all the expertise for a beef canaba, but motor order the materials in our high. Mobile and the Bob me, Bob support me. I didn't hear be a bomber, my successful competition. Mobile, how many months? Oh, 8 months. 8 months. No, my friend. Yeah.
I was na brabema kwan na anopa no sia kase na esi capito e wo fie ha wo de abukanse mu wa e no bo ade bia ye de ba beso maka